Hi, welcome back to the Duchess of Oundle. That's me, Michaela. Long time no see. I don't think I've done many videos for a while. We were doing real things when we weren't in lockdown, so here I am trying to do some more videos. We have got a new offer on, a Black Friday offer, and what I thought was, which is the bundle of the TM6, which is this machine here, and then the TM5, which is this machine here. I've owned my TM5 for nearly 2 years now, and then I got the TM6 this summer. There's little differences, subtle differences. You can still cook almost all the same functions. This probably has some additional functions like the sous vide that you see. It's got an explicit rice cooker on there, thickening process, but probably from an everyday point of view, very little. The one fundamental difference is on here you can access the cookidoo platform directly through this very large screen. You can go and do it into a search. I don't think you can see it very well if I can just bring it down here. Look, you can actually do searches here on the cookidoo platform. Whereas with the TM5, the screen is much smaller, and what you have to do is you use the app and then you synchronize it, and then it downloads to your machine. Sorry, that's probably an unnecessary move of the camera there. But, you know, I use both just about every day, but my TM5, I have to say, I always default to. It is my workhorse. I blend my nuts, my almond nuts for my milk. I do probably all the things like the everyday smoothies. I steam because I use it as a steamer for my vegetables. So this one probably still does a lot more of my everyday work. It definitely helped me empty my cupboards of my weighing scales, my steamer, my slow cooker, my fast cooker, my bread cooker. If I'm proving dough, I do it in here and just leave it in this machine. As you can see, there's still a bit of floury water there stick on there. And then, you know, when I want to do some of the more complex recipes that needs that functionality, I then go back to my TM6. But I have to say, this is a step up on functionality, but I don't feel as though, until I got it really, that I'm any the less by not having the TM6. So they work brilliantly. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to do a cottage pie. So just heads up, right, I'm probably going to be kind of looking back and forwards. I'm going to use both machines. I'm going to go completely off the cookidoo platform. I'll use it as a guide of doing things, but I know I don't have everything in my cupboards, in my store, so I'm out of carrots till the shop comes and things like that. So I'm just going to kind of just show you how I can cook with both machines. So first and foremost, I'm going to go, I'll do the meat in here, and I'll probably set the potatoes off in here. So let me get the potatoes on. So what we'll do is, here we go. I'm actually not even going to follow the recipe on here for the mashed potato. I use a recipe. It's a faultless recipe that Lindsay Sadler actually came up with. This is just experience. So what I'm doing here, just so I'm showing you now, I'm not on platform. I'm just going to use it as a cooking device. I've just filled that up with, so I've covered the blade. It's about 800 ml of water. I've already done cut and diced, peeled and diced potatoes for the topping of a cottage pie. I'm just going to pop that in, put the bowl on. As you can see, if you need more potato, you can actually steam in the Varoma as well. Then what I'm going to do is I go to home and quit that, and I'm going to set that for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes on Varoma, so this is the temperature, and then I'm just going to set that on about 2.5. So that is now steaming my potatoes. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to make the pie filling. So I am going to use a recipe, but as I said, because I know I don't have everything, I'm just going to wing it. Okay, so it's saying 3 cloves of garlic, so I'll put that in. Next, 8 ounces, this is an American recipe, of onion. So I'm slightly over on the onion, never mind. It's saying carrots. Now I don't have carrots, but I have got peppers, but I'm going to put them in a bit later because they're softer. So I'm just going to miss that out. Definitely don't put celery in because this is for my husband and my mother-in-law who are currently in quarantine after getting back from Portugal, and Anthony hates celery, but I am going to put in, because I've got quite a few tomatoes, I'm just going to put in these tomatoes as well. My speaker's coming out. There we go. Pick all the really soft ones. Look, that's probably over right. Again, I've gone slightly over, but I don't mind. He does say put a red pepper in, 2 ounces of red pepper, just cut to pieces. There we go. Oregano, I don't have fresh leaves, so I'm just going to put a few little bits in. There we go. What I'm going to do, because I want to adapt this quite a lot, I'm just going to have a quick flick at the things. Yeah, okay, so continue. I just had a quick look at the later instructions, and what I will do, because this is only a quick bliss, I am actually going to put in those yellow peppers, and those yellow peppers, I've got a lot of orangey yellow peppers in the fridge for some bizarre reason, so what I'm doing is I'm just using them up in place of carrots. So cottage pie, as we all know, is just a great dish for actually using up vegetables, getting all your vegetables into those pies. That's great. So I did put a bit of oregano in. I'm going to put a little bit more in. Right, next, extra virgin olive oil. It's saying ½ ounce. Now, because I filled that up, I'm just putting a little bit extra in. And again, you know, this is my sous chef. Doesn't shout at me because I'm going off piste. You can do that. So you can use a guided recipe just to give you some pointers, and it'll flick through the functions for you, give you the weighing scales as you go, rather than having to do that yourself. So next, what it's going to do is going to chop for 5 seconds. Let me have a look at that. It's probably going to tell me to scratch down the side. Oh, it's saying keep. Oh, there we go. Look, lovely. So just let me see. Look at that. All that veg, all lovely chopped up. That is great. It's a great base for using in your pies. Now it's saying keep measuring cup in, and he said, and then cook down. You're going to cook this down for 30 minutes, right? And also what you can see here, I don't know if you can see that from that far away, but it's put the reverse on, look. It's put reverse on. So what it's not going to do is cut up those vegetables any further, so you don't end up with a whole load of mush. So whilst that's cooking, what else have I got to tell you? Yeah, so we've got the Black Friday deal on at the moment. It's the 2 machines for $1,599, I think it is. So that basically brings this bad boy in at $450. And these are still to buy. Are still about 950 quid, so it's a really great deal. They both come with 6 months access to cookidoo, and so what would you do? Would you use 2? Well, personally I couldn't do without 2 now, so I would. But if you're already a thermomix user, what you might find this is really useful for is if you're gifting, so if you've got grown-up children at university, making curries, chilies, 1-pot pasta dishes, obviously soups, and steaming meats even. So, you know, it is an ultimate gift if you were to give this to one of your grown-up members of your children, or if, you know, you've got friends and what you wanted to do is split the package. So you might already be a TM6 owner, so if you've got a friend who hasn't got a Thermomix and you want to split the package as a TM6 owner, you could keep this one, complements the TM6 that you've got, so keep the TM5, and your friend split the cost with the TM6. And maybe what you could do is maybe just distribute that discount a little bit between the two of you. As I say, in total, this one's now got about 22 functions. This one on here has about 11 functions. But if you are a really confident chef, there isn't anything because this has, for example, there's a sous vide function in here. It's step by step. It will tell you what to do. Now, there isn't a sous vide function on here, but if you have the blade cover, and you know you're comfortable, and you know your cooking times, there's no reason why you couldn't sous vide in here. Still the same. Put your blade cover on, fill it with water, get it if you're cooking a fillet steak, for example, at about 57, 60 degrees, and seal it in one of your Ziploc bags. Make sure it's immersed in the water. I would probably use the simmering basket as well, so it doesn't sink all the way down. And yeah, you could set that timer for 2.5 or an hour and a half, and you can sous vide in there. It's just that it doesn't have the function that this one does, which what it means when it has the function, it will immediately set things like your temperature control. Whereas if you have to do it manually, you just have to go back to that home screen and do it yourself. So that's one difference, but as I say, I use both. Still probably use this one the most because it was my first and still my favourite. Yeah, it's a really fantastic deal. What we're doing at the moment during lockdown, we are doing online demos. We're still making some sales, and I've been helping out new customers online, so that's been great. Been setting up Zoom welcome sessions. We do have, as a team, we've got a Christmas demo coming up on the 28th. I will put that in the link down below a little bit later, but please register for that. So that's the whole of our team are getting together, and we're making some Christmas goodies. I think I'm doing the Brussels sprout and lardon salad, which I know will get eaten by my little one. He loves Brussels sprouts. So we've got that coming up. Also, Thermomix UK and Ireland, on their official site, on their YouTube site, they are doing very much a Christmas fest. So there's lots of lives going up, YouTube lives I think they are. I posted it on my Instagram. It's the recipe marketing manager. She's going to do some lives. I think there might be some fundraising in that. So get registered, because they are looking to raise some money for some charities, some of the bigger charities. But that'd be great fun. They'll be going through some great preparing for Christmas recipes on there. And then also between now and through December, as a team, we're starting to do things like gift ideas that you can cook and present. So this fudge and cakes and gingerbread men, alcohol and oils, do some different kinds of flavoured oils. So really, there's no reason why you should lack for any inspiration when you have your Thermomix around, especially coming up to Christmas, for gift and ideas and homemade ideas. I think after the year we've had this year, having some homemade gifts, and as having the time, because we're not socialising at the moment, it goes quite a long way to some of our relatives. They would love that sort of thing. I mean, I'll make some of the gifts and give them back to myself, probably. But also my son, I know he's keen to make some fudge, so he's going to be doing that in these machines with the guided recipes. It's just really easy. Right, so whilst I cook, I'm going to pause the video and probably come back to you shortly and show you where I get to. Speak to you in a bit. Right, we're back. So this is just going on the cooling down. This is the potatoes that I've steamed. So I'm just going to let it go in the cool down mode. And then what we'll do is we'll go that. So yes, that's stop. I'm just going to check they're cooked in here. So we cover this side, it'll be a bit easier. Yep, they're all cooked. So this is one of the great. So I cooked in the simmering basket there. Let me just turn this way a little bit. I cooked this in. So then we've got the spatula. As you can see, there's like a little like a noggin thing there. And what we do to take this out so we don't get burnt, we just slice it on, and then look, that becomes a colander. So I'm just going to leave that on there. I'm going to get rid of this water. Now, the great way of advantage, should I say, of cooking with potatoes like this is because you're not cooking with the potatoes in your milk and butter. So what happens is the potato doesn't stick to your pan. So what we've done now is we've emptied the water. I'm going to insert the butterfly whisk. Again, this is something that comes with your machine. I'm just checking I've got the right one. I'm going to put back the potatoes in there. There we go, that's all done. I'm going to put in loads of lashings of butter and a little bit of cream. These potatoes, they're an odd time of the year, so they're a little bit starchy, so you have to be careful not to make them too watery. There we go. Again, that's probably as much as you would regularly cook with, so you know, about a good 3 or 4 knobs of butter. Put a little bit of cream in just to give it that extra oomph. And then what we're going to do is we'll put this back on, set the timer to 30 seconds, and this is the bit I love because I hate mashing potatoes, absolutely hate it. Thankfully, after 15 years of marriage and my son never known any differently, they love lumpy mash. But of course now I've got the thermomix, I don't have lumpy mash anymore, but they never used to complain. Turn that to 3, up to 3.5, 30 seconds, and we're going to have mashed potatoes. And I will show you that in just a second. Well, I'm going to show you in just 2 seconds. So now the mashed potatoes done. That took, I know because I stopped the video and put this back together, that took 20 minutes from start to finish. I've only got this pan, this mixing bowl, and I have that mixing bowl. There's the only 2 things, and they can go in the dishwasher. So all really easy, and as I say, because you're not cooking with the cream or the butter, you find that the mashed potato comes out a lot easier. So let me just have a look at that. Oh, that looks fantastic. Let me show you. Lovely, lovely mashed potato in there. So what I will do now, because I'm still making the pie filling, I'll just let that stand in there, and then come later I will then put it on my cottage pie topping. But there you go. There is, if you are going to be a 2 thermomix family, that's how you can probably make recipes even quicker, go even quicker by using the 2 thermomixes side by side. And also, as I say, if you're confident in the kitchen and you're not using your thermomix for helping you with your recipes, actually it is just a really amazing cooking kitchen appliance. So I'm just waiting for this to finish, this sauteing of down all the vegetables, and we'll come back to that shortly. Right, so I did carry on recording this time rather than stopping it. So we're just coming down to the last few seconds on this vegetable base that we're making in the cottage pie. So really what I've just done here is make a great stock base, a vegetable stock base to go into the cottage pie. So I just used what vegetables I had in my fridge and you know, went from there. So so as you can see, look, that looks quite, still got the vegetables in there, and it's got a stock base, so quite gravy light, that's going to create the sauce in the cottage pie. Now again, this is where I go off piste again slightly. So what it's saying is asking me to add the ground beef. What I do is I normally, if I'm doing a lasagna or a cottage pie or anything with mince, I tend to put the mince in the simmering basket and then I cook it above the sauce as the sauce is still being made. So I'm just going to skip that element. What I am going to do is put in a tablespoon of tomato puree. I'm also, just for a little treat, I'm putting a little bit of red wine. You could just give it a bit more flavour. And I'm also just going to put in a little bit of my homemade, this is a meat stock paste, again, just to add a little bit more depth. So, you know, it's great, the guided recipes here. It's saying add salt. Well, I've used the paste instead of salt because that contains salt. I'm just going to give that a stir around, and there we go. Nice, lovely, delicious. Oh yeah, very tasty. And then it's saying gently stir, it's about sure I've done that. So I'm just going to insert the meat. So look, so what that's going to do is with all that heat from as this stock base is cooking at the bottom, it's going to cook that mince as well. Right, then it's saying put the lid on with the measuring bowl cup on top, and then again that's going to cook for 20 minutes. Now, and it's cooking at quite a high temperature, about 100 degrees. So what you could do when this is finished, which I will show you, is that'll kind of be cooked actually. So you could put it all together and then put some cheese on top and just put it in the oven. But these are going off to my quarantinis. So what I'll do is I'll make up the portions and then take them over there to my husband and mother-in-law who's in isolation at the moment, and they'll just cook it in the oven a little bit later, just melt the cheese on top. So really what I've done by having the two machines there is I've just halved that cooking time. I think in total there's about 40 minutes cooking time on here, and then if you were to have the cooking, add an extra 20 minutes, that's an hour plus your hour in the oven. Well, now I'll do all this in 40 minutes and then just finish it for 30 minutes in the oven, if that, probably 25 minutes. So it's really efficient, and I say you don't actually have any, well, for me I think I feel as though I have less mess, because I know you probably use a pan for your meat base for your cottage pie and one for your potatoes, but of course not having an extra colander and a masher and everything like that, it's just done in these two machines. So really great, really quick, really efficient, and most importantly I've cooked it from scratch, and I've used up some veg and peppers that I probably couldn't have cooked with really, but of course going in here it just adds a little bit more depth, and the sweetness of those vegetables will come out and be really tasty in the cottage pie. So again, as I'm just saying, we've got the Black Friday bundle at the moment, which is both of these bad boys. Works out it's $1,599 for both machines, which really brings this in at half price. You could buy both, sell that on eBay. No, not saying that I'm saying that, but you could do if you wanted to give it up, and you'd probably still make more money back. So anyway, I will come back to you with the finished product when this is finished as well. See you in a minute. Hi, so just as on cue, we have now cooked that for 20 minutes. So what it's saying is it now wants me to put the cottage pie together. But what I'm going to do first is, look, as you can see, that minced meat is all cooked. So I'm just going to pop that into the sauce, put that to there, take that off, and then just literally break up the mince. And then what that does is sometimes the if you don't mind it slightly more grinded, it does make it quite fine. My gang all like their mincemeat quite chunky and coarse, I think is the word that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to chop that up into there now. So yeah, that is the base of my cottage pie, and this is really, really very veggie, high content on this one, because I say I was using up, but that's delicious. So what I'm going to do now is literally decant or make these cottage pies up. So I'm just putting them in the foil containers. This is for, just makes it easy a transportation. So what I'll do is just plop that in there so you guys can get to see. So just to recap then, I've got my TM6 and TM5. I've basically divided and conquered the cottage pie recipe. So I've made the basis, the filling of the cottage pie in one thermomix, and then I did my mashed potato in the other. I follow my own mashed potato recipe for mashed potato, but there is a guided recipe, and then I used a guided recipe to make the beef filling for the cottage pie. And again, I didn't follow it exactly because I didn't have all the ingredients in, so I skipped what didn't suit what I didn't have. I added additional things in there. So the cookidoo platform is fantastic, and it does absolutely give you access to over about 60,000 recipes, and they range from really high, extremely difficult, complex, fine dining menus to really simple one pot midweek family collections, or low calories. So if you've got specific dietary requirements, there is keto, there's low calories, there's vegetarian, there is also vegan. So you name it, you will find a recipe. And that's just counting what's on cookidoo. Out in the internet now, internet, there is even more recipes now coming about for that can be made and designed in the Thermomix. And it's great from a point of view of, you know, if you can't cook, it helps you to with the guided recipe if you stick with the cookidoos. So that's really good. You can really have some meals that you probably think that you would never have cooked before. And I think the thing about cooking, really, it's normally timings, and that's what I hear people say. They don't know when to add what, and they can get a little bit get a little bit nervous about doing different dishes. But with the Thermomix and the cookidoo platform, of course, that's all a guided recipe. So all the timings, the step-by-step is all there. Alternatively, if you just really kind of short on time or want to increase your repertoire, the cookidoo platform is great for actually giving you quick meals and recipes that you probably wouldn't ordinarily cook. So yeah, really does expand the repertoire that you might already have if you are a confident chef or cook. And then obviously there's lots of things on there for dietary requirements, so just repeating myself on there. So there we go. 2 very saucy cottage pies. Look at that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's for you guys later. Anthony and Laurie on there. So that is just showing you there how to use 2 Thermomixes. Let me put that there. So I am doing demos. I can do one-to-one demos, or currently in November, if you and 3 friends, we can set up a Zoom session, and for the host, we have a gift of a baking mat worth about £20. It's one of those silicone baking mats. I use mine all the time for especially doing my pizzas and things like that. So yeah, get in touch. Let's set up a demo, and let's get one of these bad boys cooking away in your kitchen. So just message me. You can email me at michaela@mintmojo.com. Or just drop a message, Instagram or Facebook, or on YouTube here. Instagram and Facebook is the Duchess of Oundle. For those on my personal site, it's just Michaela. Just drop me a message on there. And yeah, we can do some cooking together. So stay safe, everyone, and hopefully see you all soon. Take care. Bye.